All right. Well, welcome back to Roll Time. I'm Andrea with Full Circle.
I'm Ty Tokes with Moving Mountains Productions.
We have some very special guests today. We have Cat Will and Tracy.
Yeah.
They are from the Groovy Cats in Tulsa. They have Full Circle flowers, so you guys go check them out. Y'all have a really cool setup out there.
Yeah,
I like going up there.
Me too.
We just want to stay groovy.
Yeah.
Definitely is groovy.
Definitely. So what have you guys got going on up in Tulsa?
We have pop-ups coming with patient drives and education stuff coming, and we're just fighting these bills.
The bills.
Tons of bills that we're fighting that we try to stay up with. And even our patients will ask sometimes when they come in, like, hey, like, what should we be looking at for? Like, is there something we need to email? And so we're really just trying to fight these bills and trying to bring awareness to the bills to let people kind of understand and know, like, what we're going through.
Yeah.
Well, educating the patients and the people in our industry, education is very important, and that's definitely what we want to bring here to Roll Time, so we can all, you know, as a Canna family, come together and know what we're up against and what we're dealing with. And that is what you are good at, is learning those bills, right?
I love to read, so
We make her read.
But yeah, the latest bill that we came across, which was not even in our wheelhouse because it wasn't introduced as a THC bill, is House Bill number 2807.
Okay.
Everybody needs to call their representatives, their senators, and tell them to vote no. This entire bill has no substance at all, other than a few changes in language, which are already law and rules that we have to abide by with HOMA. But the scariest part in this bill is that they are giving transporters warehouses. Why does a transporter need a warehouse?
Right.
They don't. They're just to transport the product from my original purchaser to me.
Right.
No stops in between.
Right. I agree.
So what's this bill really for?
Right.
We all know bills are smoke screens, or they amend them at the last second. Throw something in there.
Especially because it was filed December 30th, I believe, in 2024 as
Yes.
a Health and Safety Public Act as a one-page bill.
Yes.
That didn't say anything about
All pages.
cannabis or
That was it.
anything about distro, or it didn't say anything about that. It was just a one-page submitted for the Public Health and Safety Act. So how many more bills are there out there
Right.
Yeah.
that we
don't know.
actually don't even know that's sitting there that could be contemplating big shift changes within the industry that mom and pops don't even know? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even know, shoot.
Yeah, so yeah, this is pretty scary. So I would be absolutely, please call your representative and legislators and tell them to vote no on this. Right now, the Senate is completely behind this. According to the gentleman's assistant that wrote this bill, OMMA asked for this particular bill to be pushed through. And we've contacted them, and we're told to contact the author, which I'd already have. And so it's basically just sending me around in circles. So this needs now to go back out to the public to kill this bill, because there's nothing in here that's not already an implemented law, rule, or regulation,
Except for the warehouses.
except for the warehouses. And transporters don't need a warehouse.
Right.
I definitely don't want our product going to a warehouse before it goes to you guys.
Yeah, there's no reason for it to get to a transporter from you and go to his warehouse.
Right.
And then come to me the next day. What are they doing to that product?
Can you tell we
Right.
all have trust issues?
For real though.
Very much so.
Well,
I have
Rightfully
seen it
so.
all.
only with the government. Like, you know, like, I trust my local mom and pops, but like,
Right.
Yeah.
these are things that they're putting into play to benefit them. So
Yeah.
I'm always trying to tell people to look at these bills and see how this bill benefits your big corp, your big pharma, and everybody at the Capitol, and then look at it as how it benefits your mom and pops.
Yeah.
Is it gonna benefit your mom and pop? Is it safe for your public and the health and safety of your patients? Like, those are the things to look at when you're looking and reading these bills. And this one just doesn't, I don't know, seems like a smokescreen, because everything that's in that bill you can do right now.
Right.
It's already a law or a rule.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, and it shows you that this really shows you that they do not understand what the product that we are dealing with, doesn't understand it, because when they put in here, they excluded drinks from the pre-packaging. Well, drinks are in milligrams.
Yeah.
What the prepackaged law is in grams. So that dictates right there, that's flour.
Right.
Grams. Milligrams are for the edibles. Grams are for flour and concentrate.
Right.
This right here that's all it says when so if they say they're changing the prepackaging on the drinks, it's a milligram,
Right.
not a gram. The
And technically,
prepackaging law is in
your
grams.
processing
That's
law
crazy.
already states that technically, your drink has to be prepackaged. You can't serve something in a cup with a straw and then send them out of your dispensary.
Right.
It has to be like a steel packaging that they have to get in the car and they have to bust open. That's a child-proof packaging. So I'm so confused. I have so many questions. I have so many questions for it.
Yeah.
And Mom called and she talked to her for an hour and she just got the same runaround that we always get when we go to ask these questions. Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my big concern, and I know we've discussed this a lot, is just what are the patients consuming? And
Yes,
this
that's-
opens up a door for a lot more error.
Yeah, I mean, the testing facilities are already lying. You can pay testing facilities to get whatever you want passed or numbers up.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary.
If you hire a transporting company, you have to trust that that transporting company is going to get your product from point A to point B and not charge you crazy outrageous numbers. I know for some of the programs that I work with, sometimes their delivery fee from Oklahoma City to like Durant is over $150.
Golly.
And the things that we're working with are nonprofit organizations, and I can't afford to give out all these, dollar syringes and then not be able to pay the delivery fee because
Right.
it's $150.
Right.
And I understand because I was a sales rep myself, so I've seen every single side and every single angle of this industry, and I get it. Being a sales rep and a delivery driver, it sucks. It is not for the weak, for sure.
That's true.
It's a lot
That's
of
true.
gas, it's maintenance, tires,
Yep.
oil changes. If you run over something in the road,
Yeah.
that's an accident or whatever it is, you know what I mean? It's endless, but I'm always like, man, that mom and pop is already doing what they can, and that's $150. So when mom gives us a budget, she'll tell me and my sister, this is your budget for this, and then this is your budget for this, and then this is your budget for this. So you gotta tell full circle, this is what we're spending, you gotta tell so-and-so this is what we're spending, then this is what we're spending, right? Well, if you have a delivery fee of $300 or a minimum of, $500, I can't do it. Sometimes I've only got $200 to throw down on some carts, or I've got enough to get like 2 quarter pounds of something, like 2 different quarter pounds, and I don't have the $80 for a delivery fee. If my budget's $300 and you have an $80 delivery fee, I got $220 to spend with you, you know what I mean? And it kills.
Yep.
And I understand both sides of it, but there has to be, this is where communication comes into key. All of those things that are in that bill right there that we're talking about, the HB 2807, you can do those things.
Yeah.
You might not know it, and I'm not gonna tell you, because you're gonna pay me for that. You can do those things.
Yeah.
But that goes back to communication. You need to communicate. You need to partner up with your local mom and pop people. I understand you guys are 2.5 hours away from Tulsa, so I don't even know what the hell that makes you all the way away from Weatherford, or the Panhandle right before you get to Colorado. What if there's a bunch of people ending up wanting it? I understand that is probably worth $150 delivery fee, but if they have the same budget as we do, there's ways around that, and it's with communication and creating the community.
Right.
And kind of creating those ways around these gray areas that we have to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Communication is key.
100%.
It is. And the small mom and pops, we all need to come together
Yes.
and really start working together on some of these things.
Yeah, there's plenty of room at the table for everybody to eat.
100%.
We have over, I think they said like 4 million people in Oklahoma. And we've already knocked out over half of our industry. So there's plenty of room now.
Yeah.
Plenty of room. Even for everybody who's on top of each other, it's like a vibe. So as a patient, we want you to be able to come in and let us know what your ailment is and your disability is, because that's what we focus on.
Right.
I need you to be comfortable. Like, I need you to be able to come in and talk to like me and mom and my sister Michelle and be able to tell us what your ailment is and your disability is, for us to try and help you match with terpenes or certain products and stuff like that. And sometimes people can't do that at certain dispensaries. You know, sometimes their vibe is off, or they don't like somebody in the room, or whatever it is. So that's why there's plenty of room to eat. Not everybody gets along with me. Not everybody. You're not pizza. We're not tacos. We don't make everybody happy.
That's right.
So that's why there's plenty of room to eat. It's kind of like you want your patients to have that home dispensary
Yep.
and have those places to go. And there's plenty of patients to go around. There's plenty of product to go around, as we have all seen. And there's plenty of space for everybody, especially if you're mom and pops. Like, I'm cool to kick out the big corporate and let mom and pops take over, but we've got to come together.
Agreed.
To do that. Like, we all need to be sitting at like Knights of the Round Table to be able to like hone this in.
Right.
Yeah.
Make it work for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, you guys are we're helping patients, and we're not helping them by keep continuing to shove, big corporate and big pharma down their throats when we were trying to get away from that.
For sure.
And that's why a lot of us started smoking weed, was because we didn't want the government in our medicine. We didn't want big pharma anymore. And we were leveling up to another, vibration. And we're cool with all that.
Right.
Right.
I'd rather sit down at the table and try and reinvent the wheel with small mom and pops than just, we'll sell that, sure.
Right.
And not ask questions about the product, because we ask tons of questions about people's product.
Good.
That's important.
They're always shocked.
It's important, because there is, I've been out there for the past year and a half, 2 years in sales, and I've heard stories. There's a lot of,
I can only imagine.
almost to the point where, I know my couple of farms that I will smoke, and that's
And
it.
that's it, yeah.
That's it. I don't trust a lot of
And
the
some
things in this industry.
Just break your heart, Like, you'll meet the owner of a dispensary in like the most random outskirts somewhere of Oklahoma, and they'll tell you about how they got screwed over from all of this and how it hurt their patients or something, and it like breaks your heart, and you're like, oh man, like I wish I could like, give you like a free ounce to give to them or something.
Yeah,
but I'm
for
like,
real.
sometimes I can't even do that. Like, every penny matters. I mean, everybody's scraping together pennies right now, because every penny matters.
Yep.
For sure. For sure.
Yep. Yep, especially for the ones doing it right.
That part.
Following the actual laws and learning the laws and trying to do the right thing and save something that is, it's been a lifesaver for many people, myself included.
Yes.
It was an exit drug for me, not an entry drug at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's life-saving for a lot of people. And
it is.
everybody has got their hands out, because they immediately think, oh, you sell weed, you're a drug dealer.
Yeah,
Drug
that
dealers
part.
are rolling in dough. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. If you're in the black market,
That part.
you're rolling in dough.
Yep.
Because you only have one set of bills. You only have one rent or one mortgage.
Yep.
You don't have your house bills and then your work bills and your work rent. There's taxes. There's federal taxes for dispensaries. I haven't got to get the full answers on processors and growers about the federal, but I know for us there's a federal tax at the end of the year. There's packaging rules that we gotta change all the time. We gotta go buy new stickers or more stickers, or I gotta buy a new dram, or whatever their case may be that they're trying to change. Like, all of these people are like this. So we're at the very end trying to catch profit and pay our bills at home, and it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah.
What percentage would you say that you pay in federal taxes?
75%
Are you kidding me?
at the end of every year.
And you only get
It's a business
to
year.
claim your phone, your car, and then only in when the employee touches the product. So it's like playing chess, the little clock. So if the girls go behind the counter, pick up a dram or whatever, hit the clock. Work it out, stop the clock. That's it. So there's no point. I mean,
That's crazy.
it's very limited time behind the counter. So, but yeah, it's 75%. That's it. You don't get to claim your product, your rent, none of that in federal.
So what blows my mind is the federal government wants our money, 75%. So that's 75% of what you bring into that store that
Your
year.
overall, yes,
It's called a Pablo Escobar shush tax.
yes.
All
Started in,
all the plugs, all your big plugs, all the people that were always hidden and layered in the streets, all of those people, like one of mine that I knew that I got up to the top, he had a tax stamp.
Yep.
He had a tax stamp.
That's crazy.
Because it is a hush tax, and that way you get to pay your city, state, and your federal taxes. So when and if you do get raided, you cannot have those charges on you. So it's the Pablo Escobar shush tax.
Huh.
It's still federally illegal, but they still want your money. So that way, when or if they do come in and raid somebody, because the federal government is allowed to come here in the state of Oklahoma and raid everybody that has anything to do with cannabis.
Yeah.
They did it in California. As a prime example, there was like a reality show for dispensaries or something, I think, in California, and it brought a lot of light to something, and the federal government raided everybody in California, like one after another. Federal trumps state, just like how your county trumps your city and the state trumps your county, federal trumps your state. So it doesn't matter if it's medical and federally or medical and recreational here. It doesn't matter. The federal government rules. You still got to pay the taxes though.
So 75%, and I can't use a bank.
That part.
75%. You
That
can't use
part.
a bank without paying
Through the nose.
some kind of monthly fee.
Some won't even let you pay
Some
a
won't, some
monthly
will,
fee.
but the cost
did.
for some, because I've had a couple reach out to me. One bank required, it was like $750 per month just to have the account.
Jeez.
That's just the charge to have the account. Others are,
You have to have 50 grand in the
yeah.
bank at all times.
They're not a
the
brick
account
and-
at all times.
They're not a brick and mortar. They weren't brick and mortar.
Because they want to snatch it.
Oh, wait, they want
Where's the 50 grand? Can I
Right.
see the 50 grand?
For
Does
real.
somebody have 50 grand that you can just set in the bank?
No.
That we don't need to go get nutrients or packaging or gas?
Right.
So yeah, there's
Let me
no
just drop
way to-
50K in this bank real
Yeah.
quick and not touch it just to keep this account open. Like, what?
So a big problem with the reason that the prices are the way they are is because of how much you guys are having to pay in taxes.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have your OMA tax, and then you have your city and the county tax. That's what, and you get that anywhere when you go to the stores anyway. Those are your two main taxes anyway. But then on top of that, we have to pay a federal tax.
That you can't.
And I cannot put on y'all. I can't give it to you. I can't
Because
give it
it's
to
a Pablo Escobar shush tax, you can't put it on the public. So when you get a receipt from me, all you're gonna see is, we're out the door pricing because we roll it up. But if you were to break ours down, you would only see the city, county, and OMA, because that's legally all we're allowed to charge.
That's
Yes,
wild.
Wild, right?
Absolutely wild.
That's what I say. If we were able to charge that, even in the beginning when things were way down in price tag, a single gram of flour with all those taxes on it, plus the charge of the grower, and then my charge for at least overhead, you're looking at $9.75 a gram.
Jeez.
That's just
For outdoor. For an outdoor $400 pound.
And we're nowhere near that
Like,
right now.
Nothing nowhere. Yeah, $9.75.
Yeah.
Like if you would have done, I think she did somebody's in like 2022 or something, and it was like a pretty decent wholesale price. It was $18.75
yeah,
for the gram.
for the gram.
So if you add in the 75%.
If I add all those taxes in, that's what it ate for 1 gram. That's why I'm like, there's no way.
Meanwhile, everybody is always
So-
coming in like, well, do you have anything cheaper? Do you have
Right.
anything cheaper? Do you have
Is that
anything
the
cheaper?
cheapest thing we've got? And I'm like, Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I can't go any lower.
We need an audit of our taxes, please.
Please.
For real, though.
Please.
Could somebody hook us up?
We need an audit.
Audit all of them.
Do we have some
real.
friends? We can help you with the ASMR, what you need.
Here's my thing on that. With being in sales, okay, not only I now have the Canavan, but I have ran 3 personal cars through this state. And let me tell you the amount of tires that I have bought. And
We pay $5.40 to get to Oklahoma City.
that part, that's where I
Yeah.
was going, the tolls.
But we got potholes that will just eat your cars.
Yep.
And
I mean,
there's no dispensaries on the Turner Turnpike. So I'm not driving the Turner Turnpike.
Right.
You know, I might drive the Turner Turnpike to get to Oklahoma City to get my day started, or like how you would like maybe drive to Tulsa to get your day started. But when you leave, we're not on those Turner Turnpikes. We are on the back roads.
Yeah.
The county roads, the side roads, people's street roads that I'm over here like, so where's all of our taxes going? Oh, and now we got OMMA taxes, and our OMMA medical marijuana money is supposed to be going to roads and schools. And I'm like,
Where's the new books?
And then you're
can we have a road that doesn't have craters in it? Like,
I mean, anywhere. I mean, 6975 is horrible. It is horrible. From the state line all the way up, it is horrible.
Yep.
Absolutely
it's
horrible.
so bad.
And you know, I was pretty upset when I called the tire company too, because I called one of the ones that's supposed to be the cheapest.
Yeah.
I mean, the cheapest. And the price of tires.
Yes.
And we're
Expensive.
stuck. We are absolutely stuck. It's a revolving wheel of BS.
So I've been learning a lot about words. And like the manifesting and like words, like you have to be
Yeah.
careful with words.
Absolutely.
How like people say grand rising instead of good morning and stuff
Right.
like that, right? Okay. The trap. They've always called the ghetto or like drug dealers and stuff like the trap, you know, or like meth places and like all these different places
Right.
like the trap, because it's a trap. America's a trap. America
Amen.
is the trap.
Right.
We're
Right.
trapped in a cycle that when we speak out, we just get more piled on.
Yep.
Like more piled on our plate, more piled on what we got to do, and then when you try and talk about it, you get shadow banned, or people will report it, or bots will report it, and you're just like, let me keep driving through these potholes and paying $200 a tire
Right.
Yep.
every 2 months.
Yep. Not cool, Oklahoma.
No, not
Do
cool at
better.
all.
Do better.
For
Do
real.
better.
For real.
Come on.
It's our money.
Right.
That's the thing. This industry is bringing this state a lot of money. A lot of money. And the problem is, you know, it starts with the growers, because without the growers, you don't have a product.
You don't have anything.
Nothing.
And it is crazy to me. The money system is so backwards, but I'm seeing it because these people on the top want so much. They're undercutting the people that's actually keeping the wheels running.
Yeah,
Right.
literally
Because-
the backbone of all these industries, and it's not even probably just our industry.
Oh no,
You
this
know?
is everywhere. This is just what we're
Mom
advocating
used to
for.
say this whenever pre-pack came about. She would just always scream in the back of the shop, like, I don't know why all these growers don't get together
Right.
and say, I'm not gonna grow your shit unless you get this pre-packaged away. Like, why did y'all not come together? We put together rallies. We tried to talk to people. Shout out to Joe from the Herb Cabinet. He's closed. He's a closed dispensary that helped us set up a couple rallies at the Capitol, and nobody showed. Nobody wanted to do anything. Nobody wanted to talk. And Mom was always like, there was no growers there, you know, because we have to divide and conquer. So Mom
Yeah.
and Michelle stay at home and man the family in the dispo. And I go to the Capitol with everybody, and she would always be like, there's no growers. And I'm like, no.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I will speak for ourselves and probably a lot of other small mom and pop growers. where's the time?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, right now, you're talking from start to finish, it's been me and Joe running this.
Right.
We've had my husband step in and help when we've been, desperate.
Yeah.
We now have Ty, but, and now we've promoted some very close friend and family to get credentialed, so we got some help during harvest and defoliation and stuff like that. But this has been a two-man show.
Yeah.
Daniel was out selling and then it was, it's just a lot. And so I took over and it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Dirty Girl Farms was a one-man show, a one-woman show.
Wow. Is she still operating?
No.
Dang. See, that's the problem.
One-woman show.
Yep.
From beginning to harvest, to trimming, to cutting, to coming to me in a jar every time. In a quarter-pound jar every time with her sticker on the front of the jar.
Wow.
Every time.
Wow.
From beginning to end. Not here. Some of the best flour you could have smoked. Very clean, very good, very terpene, and only getting better. Not here.
Jeez.
Not here. The list is so long.
Right.
Yeah.
Of that are one-woman shows and one-man shows, because literally there's so many hands out that there is no money and there is no time to
That's
it. And I ask people all the time, it was one of the things I think me and Joe and Native Veteran, that's a grower, we talked about when we were doing the rallies. Like, he's a one-man show, I believe, too. Native is, and I think he's got some help. But we said the same thing. Like, when they were at the Capitol, their businesses were closed. So it'd be the same thing. Like, if me, Mom, and Michelle have to go, our dispensary doors are closed. And like, that's a whole day of not trimming, or a whole day of whatever. And we all know, for as growers, for those of you who know how to grow, plants don't care.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's your birthday, if it's Christmas, or if there's 18 feet of snow outside. It doesn't matter. You have to water them. You have to wake them up. There's a bunch of stuff you have to do. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So
someone is here 365 days of the year.
That's true.
Period.
Can't be a grower.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, you have to also do the same thing with OMMA.
Right.
Because your inspections, you are no
Oh, yeah.
longer given an email that states, we're going to be there in 2 days to inspect you. You don't get that anymore. It's pop up, hello, here I am.
Right.
So as a business owner, and I'm the only one, and it's all throughout my own business, I'm the only one that's allowed to talk to OMMA on inspections. None of my girls can talk to them.
And OB and DD, that goes for you too.
Me and me alone, because I will be the one that takes the questions. I will be the one to answer them, show them my book, show them my paperwork. So that way it all falls on my shoulders, which it's my job as the owner. You don't get that anymore. So how can you plan a vacation to even try and go spend some time with your family? And the second you get out of the state, it's like they know. So as owners, unless you have multiple owners involved in this, you cannot leave. If me and her get out of the state, I guarantee you, the second we hit a state line, they're gonna pull up.
Yep.
And then that's a failed right there, automatic, because you weren't there. Because my people that I have in there know, in no uncertain terms, are you to open my door and let them in. Period. Unless I am there or my attorney. No. So there's your first fail. Well, if I'm out in the middle of an ocean, and my person says, well, she'll be back on this day, she's on vacation, what do you think OMMA's gonna care about that? No, OMMA's gonna come back the next day. There's your inspection 2. That's your second fail in a row. Bye-bye license. Bye-bye everything you've done.
So tell me, how many other businesses in the state of Oklahoma have to go through that?
Well, it's not right. I've heard complaints through the last few years, people plan vacations and then they have to stop them. And that is in no way, that should be the last thing we're worried about. We should be able to have our days off.
Oklahoma pharmacies don't have to worry about any of this.
Right.
Literally every other single Oklahoma business, because that's what we are, is Oklahoma businesses. They don't have to do anything near what we have to, and we can't go on vacation all together, like as one.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's sad.
It is wild.
That's the way they do it. The way they keep control.
I have to make sure I'm here. I'm the one that knows everything in the computer, the compliance. I'm responsible for everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, weights, plant tags,
Yeah.
that all falls on my shoulders.
Yeah.
So I'm in the same boat. I understand.
Yeah, and
So,
OB&DD doesn't sleep.
no, apparently
Saturdays and
not.
Sundays count for
Yes.
OB&DD. They'll pull up whenever they want.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's-
1,000%.
Alma didn't work on the weekends.
I don't think Alma may work on the weekend. Nah, I think
They take their days off.
They do take the
And holidays, too. And
Oh, yeah, and holidays.
And holidays.
Yeah, of
Don't
course they
forget.
do. Of course they do.
OB&DD? Nah, bro. Nah, they don't take no holidays. They're like the plants. They don't give a shit what day it is.
Yeah. Anybody can pop in anytime, but here's the thing, if I'm right in the middle of moving plants, or I'm right in the middle of weights, or I haven't gone through and done my weight updates, because we cure our product properly, so
Yeah.
therefore we do lose weight over time. You know, my weight's maybe off a little bit, or something may be off, and hearing the stories of people getting shut down for those minute things.
Just a little minute thing.
Not having the tags when they're in the middle of a harvest and a tag fell off a plant, or, you know, you're in the middle of bucking and a tag falls off a bucket. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Or the
Misspelled
little-
words.
the little word.
Misspelled words. That
Yes.
is ridiculous.
Or the letters, the little letters on the sign that was supposed to be outside the grow, somebody got their license removed because revoked because the letters weren't 2 inches tall.
Yeah.
On the sign outside of the grow.
That's
Those are the
messed up.
things, we
Wild.
pay Metric and OMA lots and lots of money. Educate us.
Yeah.
Let us
Come in,
know
yeah.
that you want a certain size on the sign.
That's
Don't
it.
just say put a sign out there with no particular parameters.
Right.
Well,
Well,
I think they have the parameters. It's just like
Now.
I'm pretty sure that we
Not
got
in the
bigger
beginning.
things to worry about than a letter being 2 inches.
Right.
When you just busted out a legal grow that was attached to a dispensary, a processing, and a waste facility. That seems like a really big circle for
Right.
the black market right there. So I'm pretty sure we got bigger things to worry about than a letter being 2 inches on a sign.
Well,
that says "Come rob me, I'm a grow."
Right.
I really am
Like, come
scared for all
on.
of y'all because
Yeah.
of that.
First of
Yeah.
all, you already know that it's a grow if they're water tanks and their CO2 machines and stuff
Air
are
conditioners.
outside.
Literally,
Air
you can tell.
conditioners. If it's like a legit facility that's got certain things in place
Yep.
on the outside of the building, it doesn't matter if it's a barn shape, a silo shape,
Right.
a round, a dome, a square, whatever, on the outside of the building, if you know what you're looking for, which criminals know what they're looking for when they're looking to break the law, they know what you are, and then let's put a sign out here that says, "Come rob me."
Right.
Yeah.
Processing facilities and distributors, you know, and those people who have multiple products within their facility, why would you put a sign outside
Right.
For real.
that says, "I'm right here"? I mean, there's so many processors who are in, I'm trying to think of the word, industrial zones, right?
Right.
They're in industrial parks and industrial areas. What if somebody's really dumb and starts like throwing stuff around and trying to like blow something up just because they're
Right.
trying to get in a door or something? What's next door?
Right.
I mean, what if that processor has a 6A license and they've got stuff in there and you're going in there and I mean, like, why are we putting these signs out? Like,
Do you have to do that for pharmaceuticals, like where they make
that's where I'm at.
pharmaceuticals?
Like, again, here we are as an Oklahoma
Well, in
business.
their name or in their signage outside of their building.
It just has to say pharmacy.
Pharmacy.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So
But
it
that
is.
is-
Where about where they actually make the medicine?
Right, but not where they make the medicine. It does not say, hey, we
No.
are the Sackler family
Right.
right here making your wonderful stuff right
No,
here.
right. It doesn't say
It's
that
at
they
the
make it.
pharmacy,
Right.
which again, as a dispensary, we are kind of like we are like your pharmacy.
Right.
So we already have our signage. We already have the stuff that says "Come rob us."
Right.
Because daily we have signs that say "Open" and green flappy flags that say "Dispensary" and signs outside with our deals and stuff on it.
Right.
But nobody else prior up the line needed that by any means.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There is a bill to get rid of all the flags and signage out.
I think it went down.
Well, I'm hoping. I'm keeping my eye on it. It's on the table still. It's just in the general hall.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I
Nice
thought it
try.
went down.
But there is that bill in there too as well. But and they'll leave it to where we could have the sign that's actually attached to the building, but nothing else. You can't have any flags. You can't have any signage outside. of your dispo if if that bill does come back awake and
That's
they pass it.
crazy.
So,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there's a lot. There's one. I'm so glad it's on the it's tabled, but you still need to watch it. And I'm surprised these women have not got up in arms. There's a bill literally that states if you pop positive for THC and you're pregnant, you will face a federal charge.
That's crazy.
There's nothing like that out there about cocaine, crack, meth,
Opioids.
Right.
fentanyl. There's no other law about those other drugs.
UK moms hear this?
For
Yes.
real.
Watch.
It is dead. It is. I think it's dead. From what somebody was telling me the other day
It's
when she
in
was up
hold.
there.
It's in hold.
I know it's in hold, but they think that it's dead. Like
I
it's not
hope,
gonna
but
be
you have to wait
rebranded.
till March 27th, sweet
Yeah.
cheeks.
There are still a lot of things that go on with
Yeah.
families
These two
that
outfits.
they have sick children.
Yeah.
And they allow their children to consume
Yeah.
THC
Yeah.
or, the FICO products.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's just so much stigma
There's
against
so
all of
much
this.
stigma, and we don't allow children to smoke. I follow a lot of the Colorado rules. I base a lot of my stuff off of Colorado. I have a lot of friends up there, and I was up there from the moment that they had it medically legalized all the way up to recreational, and watching everything that they did and learning everything more about the plant and consuming and what to look for things. And they don't let people under the age of 18 consume. Minors can have a medical card, but on the back of their medical card, they're not allowed to have smokables.
Right.
No concentrates, no vapes, no flowers. So that's how we run our dispensary, because minors cards in the state of Oklahoma say the same thing as
Yep.
an adult. Well, I'm not letting a child come buy 3 ounces of flour and an ounce of concentrate and some vapes.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
No, and then, if you talk to the parents, that have the children that are needing this, there's other avenues. You need to
Yeah.
talk to them. You need to figure out why are we doing this?
Right.
Because you've got the CBDs, you've got the Delta 8,
There's
you've also
tons.
got natural
Yeah.
herbs. We sell all of that. It's not just RT. And I understand that, that's part of the business, but little ones, let's start at a lower thing. Let's start with your Delta
Right.
8s or your CBDs.
Yes, because we
And then
as
go from
humans
there.
build up a tolerance.
Right.
So once you
Yes.
start a child on it at a very young age, it's going to build them up a tolerance. So if
Right.
there's a way that you can start them on the CBDs and Delta 8s, and you can microdose them. They don't have to be, 5 milligrams. It can be 0.5 milligrams and then or 0.25 milligrams and then a half a milligram before they go to sleep or whatever it is. But you've got to educate the child as you're doing it too.
Yes.
So that way they don't use it as a crutch or something to cover up, because you can treat weed like everything else. I mean, everything is an addiction in its own way. So you've got to educate them, but you don't have to immediately go and start on, weed and
the
FICO and
top
stuff
thing.
like
You
that.
don't have to
Yeah.
do that.
There's
Right.
Delta
Yeah.
A, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's a patient in Pryor, this poor mom and this family, their infant, somehow somebody went out, and I think they were on a family vacation, and they touched the trash can and threw the trash can away. They went back and washed their hands, I believe she said, but there was something on the arm of her that just barely brushed on her arm, and it was the raccoon poop. And it's something that only children can get between the ages, and I haven't looked at this in so
think
long.
it's 6 months.
6 months and 2 years old. You have to be between these ages. And it's something from the raccoon poop, and what it does is it messes with their neurological stuff, and it makes it to where their fine motor skills don't work. So he couldn't do anything or
crazy.
really talk. He was in a lot of pain, always crying. This is a non-cannabis family, non-cannabis friendly family at all. And they took this baby through all kinds of stuff. And the only thing that they could find was cannabis. A doctor called them and said there's a study going on in Washington about this disease with babies, and the only thing helping them is cannabis.
Wow.
You can move here and get a card for them and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, nope, we live here, blah, blah, blah. Her and her husband went and got a card. And I was with the baby. I message her all the time just to kind of check in and see how I can help her. But she tries to microdose him with FICO, and I've been trying to help as best I can. I'm talking about a 1 and 2 year old trying to microdose tiny bits of FICO. And so in the beginning, what we found out was the CBD FICO was the best for him during the day. He was actually active. He could eat and actually hold his fork, and he would actually play with his siblings and actually be up for a little bit. And then the THC FICO actually allowed him, like from the THC side, the female plant side, whatever, I'm not a scientist, that one would help him sleep. So that way he could actually get some sleep and not actually have as many seizures and all the pain and all the shaky problems that he was getting. And so far, from what I've been told, he's been doing amazing with it.
That's awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah, no smoking. No smoking. I mean, it's
Right.
literally just little bitty, like, not even grains of rice. I mean, like a swipe.
Yeah.
Like a honey swipe.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Like a toothpick. I mean, just touch it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right,
It's just so tiny.
And you can literally, I mean, it's good for seizure patients. If somebody's having a seizure, you can pull FICO out as long as they're not allergic, because mom's allergic to weed. You can put FICO in between their gums and their cheek, and it will
Yep.
like soothe the effects within like 5 to 15, 20 minutes to where they're actually like starting to calm down the body, and the body isn't strengthening or whatever. I can't even think of the word, but constricting as much.
Right.
And it'll calm them down to at least where you can get them to the point where they're through the seizure and like get them some rest. But FICO,
So is FICO full spectrum?
full spectrum,
Full spectrum.
cannabis or fully extracted cannabis oil.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I've had to learn a lot of research. I argued with a lot of people
Yeah.
that they were like two different things or whatever, but they're not. It's just RSO is a brand of FICO. So we're trying to educate, like, FICO is what RSO is, except
Gotcha.
it's just like somebody's brand. You know, Rick Simpson made it with paint thinner and used it topically. So you don't want to recreate Rick Simpson's recipe and then put it in a syringe and let people go eat it.
Right,
So
right.
you shouldn't use isopropic alcohol either for your FICO that you want to eat. And you can't smoke FICO.
Yes.
No.
You cannot smoke FICO. I have already argued with so many people about this. It is
Really?
toxic for you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so the bud from a grow, it's not active, right? When you set it here, it can sit by mom all day. It's not active. In order to activate your flower or your pre-roll, you have to take a certain flame to it and a certain temperature to get it to be activated. Same thing with concentrates. Those can't just be necessarily always lit with a lighter because it has to be burned at a certain temperature in order for it to activate the cannabinoids and the THC and the terps to make it work. FICO is already activated. It's active right now. That's why you can put it in your mouth and feel effects within 5 to 10 minutes. Because as soon as the FICO touches your saliva and all of your, everything in your mouth, again, I'm not a scientist, I don't know all the words, but it starts working. Your body already starts taking it in, breaking it down, and pushing it through your bloodstream.
That's awesome.
Subliminally or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
you put a lit flame to FICO, it actually turns it into a gas that's poisonous to
Yeah.
you.
Oh, wow.
It
Goodness.
says it turns into a toxic gas.
Education is important.
100%.
It's huge.
100%.
That's the only way, since as she said, I'm allergic to it. I'm allergic to THC, CBD, and hemp.
So you can put the
So I
piece
have
of, you
to
can put the bud by her.
learn it.
She can touch the bud, like without gloves, she can touch the bud, right? And then she doesn't get a rash or she doesn't start heaving, but if she touches like rosin or concentrate or
Yeah.
FICO, she gets sick.
Wow.
And she gets nauseous because those things are like, especially rosin and FICO, they are, I mean,
Active.
Yeah.
they're,
I'd
they're
rather have the
heavy.
flu. It
Yeah.
would be better if I'd had the flu. Besides
Goodness.
that's how bad it is.
Wow.
But yeah, so, but that's my side of it. That's where I learn. I ask questions. I call people and ask questions. I look at every kind of research possible out there about, what strain it is. What did you cross it with? Can I have their parents? I want their lineage. What does this, this cross and this cross, what do they help with? Is this a really good one for, because we get asthma patients, and I just look at the asthma patients like, you're seriously going to light up. You have asthma.
Right.
Really? Well, we come to find out, pinene. Really good to open up the lungs and get those, all that open so it gets oxygen in it.
Yep.
But that's my side of it. So I do a lot of the research. I do a lot of the questioning and asking and calling and saying.
She kind of just
Okay.
got thrown into it and was
Yeah.
like, here you go. Do
you
the
go.
paperwork. And then she was like, I don't know what any of this means.
Right, yeah, they're hitting me with words, and I'm like, the biggest joke in there is because I had a gentleman come in and ask me if I had a left-handed cigarette. Well, I I smoke cigarettes. So
I'm
like,
dying.
And
I'm
he has
dying.
a cigarette in his right hand. Okay,
I'm
he has it in
dying.
his right hand, and he's asking me for a
I'm
left-handed
laughing.
cigarette, and I'm like, I'm really trying not to be, mean
I
or
couldn't
anything to this
breathe.
poor man. I felt so bad for him. I was like, can you take that cigarette there and put it in your other hand? He goes, and he did it. I said, there you go, you got a left-handed cigarette. He had no clue what this man wanted.
Yeah.
And then the girls were explaining, Mom, that is, he wanted a pre-roll. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't know that. I
didn't know that lingo either.
Yeah, shout out to all the deadheads and the older generation. Yeah,
I was just like,
they got crazy names for it. I was
yeah.
rolling in the. I was rolling like
they were just laughing at me. I was like, I didn't know.
In the
I didn't
beginning,
know
she'd
that
come
one.
back and say something. She'd be like, "They asked for this," and I'm so confused. And I'm like, "Mom, I'm like, this is all they wanted." And she's like, "That's all they wanted," and I'm like, "Yes." So like, there's so many names.
Yeah.
Okay, we are back. We had to take a small break, refill our drinks, and now we're back to rolling. So we were just sitting here having a really good conversation, and we wanted to make sure we got this information to you guys. So one of you ladies want to kick that off?
Okay. I just want the small mom and pop growers, please be very wary and careful of companies approaching you to prepackage your flower. Please be very cautious. Reach out to any one of the four of us for a little bit more in-depth detail, but be very cautious. There are the rules have not been dropped by OMA about how your prepackaging is going to be or how it's going to affect you. Again, this new bill that we talked about earlier, you do need to get to stop it because this bill 2807 will hurt you immensely. But do not let your product leave your facility for anybody to prepackage it.
To then bring to my dispensary.
Right. Please do not. So, you guys can read the actual, it's only 2 pages, it's not very long, the actual bill for prepackaging, and you will get an understanding of why this is a very bad thing. So,
And if you guys have questions, you guys can reach out to any of us.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
we've got copies, we have links, me and my mom have the app downloaded. We can walk you through the app that shows you, how you can find the bills. It's one of the ways that I maneuver the rallies is on that app because I'm able to find certain people's offices, and like what floors and levels are on.
Right.
I need all of us together as just small mom and pops to get together and communicate.
Yep.
If you guys have questions, like this is where we are going to have to divide and conquer because not everybody has multiple people so they can shut down and come through, but maybe they can be a part of like different conversations and different events or different, monthly meetings or something, but we need to get something rolling
Right.
together
Absolutely.
where that way we're always in some form of communication. And I mean, you can always reach out to me and Mom. I'm always down to help where I can be helped and where I feel like you're coming from a genuine place for the patients and the better of our industry.
Yes.
I'm always down to help and answer questions. I mean,
There's a lot of knowledge out there.
there is, and a lot of people aren't reading it, and that's
Right.
that's the scary thing is, some of these, yes, I understand some of these bills are extremely long, but it's to your benefit to read line by line.
When I was gonna say,
Some-
that's the thing is like some people,
Yeah.
because it's the 1-man and the 2-man show, they don't have the time to
Right.
read a bill that's 176 pages.
I have no problem reading them all. I read all day long. I have no problem reading. And if there's words in there that I don't understand, I reach out to my attorney and say, hey, what's your take on this word? Because my take on this word is something totally different.
Right.
I've had 2 different lawyers read this law, and I'm just, high school education with some college. We all read it in 3 different directions, but it also read very contradicting to the law itself. The law itself is very contradicting. So,
And there's no rules, there's no
none,
regulations.
no rules yet.
And it has to be in play by June 1st.
Yes.
Meanwhile, everybody is out here getting ready for prepackaging instead of rallying and gathering to talk about this. You
Right.
should not just be preparing for it and stop telling everybody on the internet the moves.
Yeah.
Stop talking on the internet.
Yeah.
If you're gonna talk on the internet, do the whatever the code is in the generation, whatever the heck it is. Just don't talk on the internet. Quit feeding them the information that they're looking for.
Right.
On December 17th of 2024, OMMA was looking for the rules.
They wanted us
That's
to give
why
them
they
the
had
rules.
that public hearing. That's why they had
crazy.
us do the public comment. That's why they did that. They wanted us to put in the public comment like what we wanted out of the rules and how we wanted these rules. That's why they always leave that stuff open like that for public hearings. None of us did that, which is epic to me because I'm all about the revolution and not making their jobs easier because
Right.
they make our lives harder. So I'm here to make their lives harder. That's why I keep saying to y'all on the internet, stop telling them your moves. Stop getting ready. Stop following every move they tell you. I understand that our licenses are at if you don't follow things, you know, you can possibly get it taken, but at some point in time, we all have to stand up and create a community to where we can stand up and be like, hey, as a community, we're not doing this.
Right.
You know, we can start, the more we get together and the more we communicate and understand these things, we can start attacking this stuff in our own legal way.
Right.
And the just way that is supposed to be the justice way that they are supposed to do it. We can do that, but I need help.
Yeah.
You need help. You
Yep.
need help. We are only 4 or 5 people sitting around with a couple other people like, let's do it.
Well, I think there's a lot more. I think there's a lot more people out there. I have talked to many, many people.
Yeah, see,
that
I
and-
love hearing that from when I was sales
Sorry.
repping to now that you're out later in the years. And
Yeah.
you're like, no, you're like the things that I'm hearing. And I'm like, because
Yes.
I heard it, but I heard it very few and far in between when I would be out. And you're like, it's every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All day,
it's
every day.
everywhere. It's everywhere. And, you know, a lot of people, there are some that they're scared to speak out.
Yeah.
They're
You should never
concerned.
ever be scared to speak out. I'm telling you right now, I am the loudest, squeakiest wheel. I have personal numbers of people at OMMA, narcotics, as well as metric, because I am so loud. I am so squeaky.
Right.
I demand answers.
She
I
emailed-
demand you to fix my problems.
Everybody
Right.
at OMMA
Oh.
for a year and a half every day
I
because
had-
she didn't hear.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
emailed the business email, the patient email, the dispensary, the processing, the transport, the
Research,
dispensary, the
everybody.
research, the waste. Every email for businesses that you could email,
Yeah.
she sent an email once a day, every day for a year.
Because I was trying to get my COC, and the city of Tulsa was not helping me in any way, shape, or form. Super simple process, by the way, super simple.
Yeah.
But they weren't helping me because there was a building up the road within my 1,000 square footage from me to him who was COC'd as a dispensary already. Well, he was an illegal dispensary because he was less than 600 feet from the school.
And you have to be
So-
below 1,000.
I am very loud. I mean, I sat at the city every morning, had my coffee, my breakfast while I'm emailing Oma every day for a year. Finally, I got a personal number. Please call this man and leave me alone. So don't be
It
afraid.
works, though. It works, though.
I'm telling you,
Yes.
it works.
No, that's
Don't
cool.
be afraid to speak out and ask questions and demand answers
Right.
because that's the only way you're going to understand this stuff.
Right.
Well, and
And-
we live in the society that we lived in, and excuse my language, but we live in a cut up to society that we live in because people have been scared.
And
Through
yes.
all kinds of different things, through people's traumas, you know, and their situations and their stories. There's tons of people who've been scared to come forward on a lot of things because they're so worried about the repercussion, but that's why we live in the world we do today.
Yes.
Right.
So the more that you don't speak up and the more that you don't reach out and talk about it,
Right.
we can't bring back that communication. We can't
Right.
normalize talking about our situations and the things that people have been through and the traumas and how other people have screwed people over left and right just out of nowhere. Like, you have to be able to come forward and talk about it.
Right.
And there are no dumb questions. I
No.
tell people this all the time in cannabis.
never.
There's always dumb questions sometimes, right? But not in the cannabis industry,
Right.
in my opinion. Like I was saying earlier, we need to widen our vocabulary, right? People are just now feeling comfortable enough to legally research it.
Right.
Okay, so we need to talk about it more, and we've got to be able to do that together as a community. Because if we don't, we're just going to keep remaining on like split sides of the field, and then nobody's gonna be able to ask any questions.
Right.
Because then we're not gonna be here tomorrow. Like, ask your questions,
Yeah,
please.
the way this is going and the way, the big picture, if these bills pass, literally, the state will be running your Oklahoma medical marijuana program.
Yeah,
And you all will be forced out.
pretty much just like every other state prior to us.
Yes.
Colorado's that way, Michigan's that way, Oregon, Washington, California, they're all the same.
Yes,
way.
they are.
Well, I've been saying it for about a year or more now. They call us the Wild West of Oklahoma.
I'm just saying, I've been telling people, you know how many people I have had conversations with that said that we could be the leaders in so many things within the cannabis
Right.
industry, just because of like, you know, our farmland that we have. Like, I'm gonna give you some free information, here you go. You can grow hemp,
Right.
the male plant, right, because it's
Right.
federally legal, right? You can grow that, and it cleans your soil. Did you know it cleans your soil?
I didn't know
Mushrooms
that
clean your
part.
soil.
That's cool.
Hemp cleans your soil. Do you know that you can harvest hemp and then make shoes and rope
I
and
knew
paper?
that, yeah.
And then the next year you can regrow hemp and clean
Right.
your soil
You can
some
grow
more.
hemp year round. That's how durable that plant is.
It's a weed.
Year
Right.
round.
It cleans your soil.
It's great for
There's a
building,
study
bricks,
going on that
buildings.
says that if you, like, and as an example, a nuclear area, you could more than likely heal it with hemp and mushrooms, the way that the
great.
mushrooms communicate underneath with each other,
Yeah.
and the reason why mushrooms grow and how they grow, and the reason why they grow the way that they do is because they're eating stuff from the inside out, and they're actually cleansing the area. There is dirty molds and things that you can eat and that you don't eat and that you should not inhale or whatever, but between mushrooms and hemp, you could probably cleanse something like Chernobyl over a matter of 14 years.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
25 years.
Right?
You can cleanse your
crazy.
soil to the point where, like, you know, you might not be able to eat food off of the Chernobyl, but you could cleanse it enough for to help. But like, if you have like a dirty area, there was the study that I was watching going on, and they were growing hemp and mushrooms, and they cleaned that soil enough that they were able to produce food out of it, and it tasted fresh, and it was good, and it was clean. They tested the soil. I mean, it's little bitty things like this that we can do that we could be the leaders of.
Right.
Because we are such a big farming area, and Oklahoma has always mobilized as like a community for the most part in some of the aspects of Oklahoma, that we could be the leading in so many things.
Right.
Absolutely.
And just hemp and trying to help back better with the patients, taking our OMMA, maybe we could take OMMA over. You know what I mean? There's got to be something that we can do to like revolutionize this.
Well, it definitely needs to be the people making the laws and these rules and implementing this stuff need to know how this industry works.
They need to know the product. There's the
Yes.
problem. They don't know the product.
Right.
They don't want to understand the product.
Or the
They don't want-
process.
they don't want to learn it. They don't want to understand that.
Right.
From a seed all the way to it gets to me, be it in a concentrate format or in the flower format. They don't understand it. It's like last year, they tried to pass a bill. My God, that was hilarious. Where you had to grow your flower with a cap. You had to cap your flower at a certain percent. I was like 17% or something. And I asked the gentleman that put that in the bill. I said, "Sir, I'm just going to go out the ball. Do you own rose bushes? How about an orange plant tree, orange or apple tree?" He goes, "Well, I have rose bushes." I said, "Do you go out to your rose bush every day and say, 'I only want 6 roses, not one more'?" 6 roses, not one more. You're telling the farmers they have to go out and yell at their fields, yell in their buildings, say, "Look, girls, we're only doing 17% today."
That's all you can do.
And you think the plant's
That's all you got. Push yourself, yeah.
So they don't understand this plant, and they
No.
don't want to learn it. They don't
They don't
want to
care.
understand it.
They don't care.
Well, it's like farming. I always compare it to farming because they did the same thing with farming as far as like tracking it and only letting you grow certain genetics and telling you where you can grow it, and there's not even fresh food
imagine
anywhere.
that.
Right.
Well, you know, we talk about this often. You know, Oklahoma, you want to help your homeless.
Yeah.
Start planting some fruit trees.
Right.
That's what we tell people all the time.
I mean, why do we not have fruit trees
do
along
you
the
all
highways?
realize that you
and-
could start your whole barter system and grow cannabis and hemp and then fruit trees, and you would literally have food and free cannabis and free healthcare
And then
free
beekeeping.
food. Boom.
That's
Yeah.
all you need. That's all you
Just
need.
Dude,
free
And a
health-
water source,
Free,
that's it.
yeah, free healthcare. All you need is find us some water. Boom. We just figured it out, America.
Come on.
One of us for president. Let's
This is not hard, but
it's really,
you know,
it's
wanna
the
push out-
coming together.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's really hard for me to kind of like explain something or like get something out if I don't have like that sounding board. Or
Right.
like with these bills, it's nice to be able to print stuff off and like highlight something and then like send it in a group chat and be like, hey, somebody read this to me and then tell me what you think. Like
Yeah.
that is needed.
Right.
Just the community together is needed. We're here for the better benefit of the patients. And if we're tearing each other down, the patients are only following us and doing the same thing.
That's
and
it.
we're trying to heal everybody, not destroy everybody. So why can't we come together to do it together and then write our own bills?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know the industry might be trash right now, but could you imagine if you stop hating everybody and come together and then we write our own bills?
Right.
Yeah.
And we go back and you amend it. You know, we can, I know that there's different terminology or whatever, you know, don't get me on the terminology. 'Cause there's amendments that you can do in new, you
Right.
know, whatever, SBs and HBs, because there's a bunch of different things within the community. But if we all get together, there's a lot of people out here in the community that are educated in those areas who
Right.
I'm learning from and that she's been learning from that
Yep.
are very helpful in these types of situations. And it's
Yep.
it's about coming together.
yep.
Agreed.
And patients, know your growers.
Yeah. Know
No.
your growers, know your products.
Yep.
You know, like ask about your processors, you know what I mean? We even ask like when people leave us samples and we consume them and we talk about them with the people who leave us the samples, we'll ask them all kinds of questions after or before, you know, like, okay, well, what's your, you know, flushing process or what's your harvest process or what's
Right.
your dry and cure process because this did this and this did this and this was harsh and this did this. So we ask all kinds of questions. And I get that not everybody has all of those educations because they haven't been able to see all of the sides of the industry
Right.
like I have. I've been in the grows. I worked at a grow for like the first 2 years that it was legal that we had the dispo, and I learned a lot from him. He taught me a lot about the plants and how you can't go tell them what you can and cannot do, like
Right.
and how fickle they are. He showed me
Right.
different things, and then along the way of purchasing products and asking questions, there's other growers that I've went and I've talked to, and they'll be like, well, I kind of do it like this because I was thinking that this would be a better way, and I'm like, no, actually, you know what, that's kind of genius. Okay, and then I'll talk to somebody else and they'll be like, no, well, I kind of do this way because this is a little bit easier and it's helpful on the plants. And I'll be like, oh, that's genius. What? So like everybody has their own way of doing things with growing and processing, but it's about knowing the process of it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like knowing where your beef comes from and knowing where, you know, your milk and your eggs come from. Knowing where your fruits and vegetables come from goes all the way down to knowing where your flour comes from and your concentrates come from.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
way, I mean, with the patients, that way, if you know your grower so well, and you ask your grower, okay, where else are you at in my area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I have a patient that's way south of me that needs that product because they're either out or, you know, they're, for any reason, they know what's in my store is in that area and they go looking for that product. Because as a dispensary, we don't grow it, we don't process it. So we push out our growers and our processors because
Right.
they're the ones that grew it, they're the ones that made it.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of that, so I want my patients to know and understand, okay, if you go to Oklahoma City and you're stuck in Oklahoma City and you're out of your medication, go into a dispensary and ask where this is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have this? Do you carry this brand? And if not, go down to the next one or get on if you've got that lovely little tool that you can look it up.
We'll leave unnamed because
That's right.
they did not sponsor this wonderful podcast.
Yes, but that way they know a safe product
Right.
anywhere they can, you know, look it up and go to another dispensary. They have a safe product, they know.
Yeah.
That's what we do in ours. We make sure that we push those growers and those products names.
Yeah, and those of
out
us
so
who
our
are
patients know
dispensaries
it.
who have been, you know, through thick and thin together. There's a lot of them that aren't standing anymore, which I'm so sad about.
Yeah.
But we would push patients to each other,
Yeah.
They would be like, hey, I have a patient that's in Tulsa, they're stuck, they're needing this, can you help them out? I'm sending them your way. I trust them. I trust that you will take care of my patient. And I'll be like, yeah, send them over. And then vice versa.
Yep.
Right.
People will be like, hey, I'm stuck in Oklahoma City. Like, where can I go? What do I do?
Yeah,
My
they
friend,
call and ask questions all the
yeah,
time.
my friend lives in Oklahoma City and she calls and cries to me all the time. And Jamie will be like, oh my God. I'm like, why? She'll be like, why do I not? Like, I need your flower. I don't understand why it's not here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry. Why are you an hour and a half away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing for your patients is that way
Right.
you as an owner know, so you can help your patients wherever they're at in the state of Oklahoma to get that good quality product.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And dispensaries, take care of your small grows. There's only a few of us left. And, from personal experience, I do a lot of driving. I take a lot of time to come out there and meet with you guys. And I get ghosted a lot.
Oh, all the time.
I get ghosted so much.
all the time.
And there's so many patients in y'all's area that deserve to have good product. And I have that to offer. So there's not many of us left, and if you guys don't start supporting us and educating the patients on why the price may be a little bit higher,
Well, I was going to say, don't be scared to ask. I mean, there's a couple growers who work with us personally and
Yep.
work with our budget because they want to
Absolutely.
be on a certain shelf or because they want to beat out something else or whatever. So there is no stupid questions, and the worst part about it is somebody might say no.
right.
Like at least ask and be like, hey, listen, so like I tell people all the time whenever they come back or they call, if I'm obsessed with it and mom's like, no, that's way out of budget. And I'll tell them, I literally am straight up with them. I'm literally like, yo, I loved it. This is absolutely insane and outrageous and it blew my mind and I'm just obsessed with it. But like, my pocketbook cannot. There isn't
Right.
anybody behind my dispensary hiding behind a wall with money. So literally what my dispensary makes is what it has to spend for
Right.
bills and its product. So I'll just tell them straight up, man, like I can't because it's just this is this much. And I will break it down and be like, this is mom's budget for this shelf and this shelf, and this is mom's budget for this, and this. And these are what we require in quality products when we pay for these prices.
That's
And
right.
some of them are cool as motherfucking fan. And they're with it. They're
Right.
with it.
Yeah.
They're like, but that's again with communication and bringing the community together. That's getting to know one another and being like, hey, like, I really fuck with these people. They are here for the better benefit of the patients.
Right.
I really want my stuff on your shelf. Like, that's what it's supposed to be about. Like, 100%.
Well, I would think and expect that most small grows would work with that. I mean, it is a lot for us to, especially if we're running everything,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
run the products and, especially 2.5 hours away. So, or further.
Yeah.
So, but if there is that leg room to work, I think,
Do it. And you know
Do
what?
it.
I always tell people that have dispensaries, like if you have a dispensary and you have like contractors or whatever you're legally supposed to call them who are, working with you or partnering with you, transporter cards are no longer $100. They're $27.50 every year now.
wow.
Get somebody a transporter card.
Right.
Go get you one of those little GPS things that's $9 a month. It's $20 to buy the thing that goes in your car for the, legal stuff. Here again with some free information for you out there for compliance. Get you one of those. It's
Yeah.
$27.50. Pay the $9 a month and get help out.
Help each other out.
Go pick it up. If you, especially for those people, like there's been some companies that have had delivery fees and they would not come off of them. One was in Stillwater, I think. That's like an hour and a half drive, and I can like swing by Stillwater and then get to Oklahoma City within like an hour or 45 minutes.
Right.
So I would swing by after a doctor's appointment and go back to the dispensary instead of paying the $50 delivery fee.
Right.
Because she would only give me a $300 budget, and I would need, all that $300 for vapes. Help out.
Right.
And we all know that a lot of
Right.
these mom and pop grows are not large in size, which means that their staffing situation is very scarce.
Right.
Like we were talking about earlier, the one woman shows and the 2-man shows,
Yes.
that's really hard to trim, package, label,
Yep.
test, get everything back, do metric, do this, and then now I gotta sell it to you and deliver it to you. Like,
Yep.
Right.
and that's 2 trips, because legally, we all know how that works, so that's 2 trips.
Well, if the small mom and pops come together and we do just make that investment to
Yeah.
deliver for each other and to kind of
Yeah.
sell for each other and help each other out,
Yep.
that would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
That'd
That's
be
what I said whenever this rules finally get let out, holler. We'll come up on a Sunday and help you.
Yeah.
Because we don't work on Sundays, so
And we already have to be credentialed, so we can come and help package up whatever has to be packaged. Like,
Yeah.
So I mean that's not an issue. I mean we don't mind going and helping others
Yeah.
at all. It's what we're here for.
Yeah. That's what we need to do.
yeah.
So we've
Come together.
That's been a theme song of mine lately.
I'm saying,
It's a good one.
music heals, and they've been telling you for a really long time what we should have been doing.
Right.
Y'all ain't listening.
we have a episode rolling out soon with Joe, and well, it will actually already be aired by the time this airs, but it will be rolling out with what he all does in the grow and stuff like that, and how vibing with the plants. I love going in there and talking to them.
Yeah.
And patients love that.
Yes.
They love that. They love getting to know different things like that, and
Yes.
fun little tidbits about that. They love hearing fun things like that, and it's so cool to be able to see people's different grow styles like that, and how different people jam out in different ways for the plants.
Yep.
Joe's
Yep.
definitely got the California vibe. And then there he always listens to like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah.
Vibing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, we have some things up in the air and
Yes.
some things that will be rolling out soon. So
Yeah.
More information. We can't tell you. It's a secret. Just for right now.
but yes, we got some big things coming. So you guys
Yeah.
stay tuned. If you have a small business, I know a couple of you I'm been reaching out to, and I am going to make it out to see you. There's just been a lot going on.
Lots of it.
Reach out. Let's work together. We're here to bring it full circle. So this is our industry. We're here for the patients. We're here to make sure the patients are getting good quality products.
Yes.
The people lined up for this show, that's what this is about. So I'm excited to see what happens in the future, and I appreciate you guys so much for making the drive.
Yeah, anytime. Holler at us.
Yeah. So if you guys have any question, you can find Cat Will online everywhere. Andrea Full Circle, and of course Ty Tokes.
Yeah.
We will be happy. We'll probably all be asking this lady over here.
You can call the Groovy Cats, 918-381-5092. Just call.
There you go.
Mom will answer.
There you go.
Well, most of the time, Mom
I'm here
will
today.
answer.
But I'll answer it every other day.
If you call today, the sister will answer. Just say, hi, Michelle.
Yeah. Big shout out to Michelle. She's running that today for y'all.
She's running it today.
That's awesome.
Holding down the fort.
I love
That's
that
so
it's
awesome.
a family.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely love
Yeah,
that.
and I love when we get to meet all the other processors and growers that are like that. It's very awesome, and that's what I need to come together, is everybody trying to make this happen together.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
100%.
It's now or never. It is now or never. So I know a lot of you guys out there have tried. I've heard the stories.
Yes.
I know that there's been a lot of efforts, and you guys, there's a lot of you out there with good hearts, and y'all want to make some things happen. So let's do it.
Let's roll.
Let's roll it
Let's
out.
roll. It's roll time.
It is roll time. So, like always, go to a local dispensary. Hey, if you're in Tulsa, go buy Groovy Cats.
Yeah.
Get some of that Full Circle Growers flower and put that in your pipe and smoke it. Until next time, y'all have a wonderful day.
See ya.